listening to the Bathtub Refinishing Podcast.
Powered by BathTubGuys Refinishing. We discuss the refinishing industry, interview owners and operators, and give tips to business owners and entrepreneurs. Now, here's your host, Daniel Montalvo.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Bathtub Refinishing Podcast. So this is going to be the last episodes of the year, pretty much, because we're filming this on December 30th. It's me, Jonathan, and our guest, which is Carlos from A Kings Renovation.
Yo.
And we're just going to be talking some stuff, kind of talking about how the year's been going for everybody, goals for next year, things like that. But because I haven't had you on the show, I got to put you on the spot a little bit, man.
Absolutely.
So
I love the pressures.
I always ask everybody the same thing. And I know we were talking about it a little bit briefly before, but how did you get into the refinishing industry, man?
Woo! Okay, so I got into refinishing in general.
Read the mic closer.
Probably about, I want to say like 12 years ago, as in I actually just became a refinisher. But I'm from Puerto Rico, and my grandfather, he's had a furniture store where he did everything as far as, I always say it in Spanish, like tapiceria. So he would do, like,
tapestry.
Yeah. So, man, and he's still alive, and he still does it, by the way. So this freaking man's a genius. He's like 86 years old. Still hard worker, still strong. You know what I mean? Like, this man still works.
They're built different.
And they're just built different.
Different.
It was probably all the shots they didn't take that we did.
Yeah.
For real.
But Mickey D's every day.
No Mickey D. No, like, this man wakes up in the morning, revoltillo, you know what I mean?
It's
like,
the rice and beans, bro.
It's the rice and beans, bro. They give us that extra strength. But so when my parents used to work, when I lived in Puerto Rico, they would just leave me with him, and he would force me to go to the freaking place, and I hated it. Hated it because he would put me to work, and I'd be like, no, I don't want to go. He's like, shut up, you're gonna come. But basic grandparents, my Puerto Rican grandparents had that.
Yes.
So he would always take me, and he would put me to work, bro, and he'd put me to sand. So like he'd have a lot of antique style like couches and stuff that he would have me rip all the way, and he would start them from scratch again, and like I'd be sanding, I'd be like no masks or anything, like standing outside sanding, and he'd put me to spray, and like I'm talking like I'm at 10 years old, again, built different. I would never do this to my kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, he would put me to work, bro. And so I knew overall refinishing, and then I got an opportunity. I've been a car enthusiast my whole life. Like, I have 5 cars still right now. And I do everything from like mechanics, painting, and stuff. So at home on my own, since I already knew how to refinish, I'd always buy cars that were either totaled, and I would do everything, body work, paint everything. And a buddy of mine, he ended up telling me about the company that I told you about, where we would travel everywhere. He's like, yo, you know how to paint, man. I work for a company, and we go everywhere in the United States. We do countertops, we do cabinets, we do tubs. And he's like, I know you're reliable, and I know you know how to paint, and we've been having a hard time trying to find people. This was 12 years ago. So my wife, I had just gotten her pregnant, and I'm like, man, I need to make some good money. And he told me that I would if I came with him. So I just started traveling with him. And through the company that we both worked for, we were going everywhere, man. The company was based in Tampa. And we would, the way that company would work would be getting contracts with apartment complexes that I don't want to say, if I'm not mistaken, it was BlackRock, because BlackRock has existed forever.
For a long time.
Yeah, forever. Jesus, how do you get to the billions like that,
Yeah.
But so BlackRock would be buying apartments, and we were the back pocket. Like, we were in their back pocket for almost everything. And bro,
Do you remember the name of the tub refinishing company?
The company was called Surface Tech.
Surface Tech?
Surface Tech LLC from
Okay.
Tampa, Florida.
Was it like a franchise, or was it
exist? No, not a franchise. A business owned. It was pretty much family. Like, the owner didn't even do anything anymore. He just sat at home. His brother was one of the managers, and then close buddies they all grew up together and all came up together. They would all be managers. They'd have sub-managers. We'd be the workers. Okay. And, bro, honestly, I fucking loved it.
They do still exist.
They do still exist, right? Yeah, I thought
Out of Tampa?
out of Tampa, Florida, man. And that's where I started. So I got trained in Tampa. Yeah, I know, right? We're about to take over there. But we started in Tampa. Tampa led to Naples. Naples led to Fort Myers. Fort Myers led to Miami. Miami led to Atlanta.
So
Atlanta, yeah.
They specialize. They do primarily only commercial multifamily. So that's probably why they don't have a big online presence, because
They don't need it.
They don't need it.
Yeah.
They're old school. They're all old guys. This new. Okay, I always tell you, dude, I'm old. I'm not tech savvy. You know, like these are the things I need to work on. Imagine them.
Yeah.
You know, like the way they pay us is they literally they would make by hand the pay stubs and hand it to you, like, you know, not printed. Here's a nice check, you know, like, oh, thank you.
To be fair, I started doing that like right after I hired you. So
Okay, well, to me, it's always been like that. So, so it looks good and professional.
Yeah.
They're probably still doing it like that.
yeah, a lot of people do it like that, man. But
It's just when you're old, you're stuck to your old ways. You know what I mean? So like, I'm sure that's why we don't hear about them. If not,
well,
they should have taken
I
over.
actually have some interesting insight on that, about how like old school people be doing old shit like that, bro. Like, I went to a client and they had gotten a quote from Miracle Method. And you know what Miracle Method still uses? The estimate booklets from like the fucking 60s.
The pads, like the huge pads, and you write it, and you hand it to
and
them.
then it makes
The
like
yellow
a copy.
piece,
So
yeah,
you write on the white one, it makes a yellow and then a pink copy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they still use that.
Well, by the way, that
whoa,
company's
man.
old.
They're from the
Miracle Method.
70s.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
Damn, I knew they were old. I didn't know they were that
Yeah,
old.
let me search up exactly.
Damn, that has to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
To have a bunch of handwritten estimates.
Yeah, imagine
Looking
keeping
for one?
track of that shit.
Yeah, they probably have like walls all filled up with like freaking filers. It's like, yeah, I remember that one that I did in '88.
1979. Woo! So tail end of the 70s.
And BathTubGuys just beat them, huh? I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just joking, guys.
Well, I mean, we do pretty well in Orlando, considering that there's a Miracle Method in Orlando, Tampa. Like, there's a bunch of them in our area. We do pretty well. I mean, the thing is also is, we price our stuff a little bit more competitively than they do.
Oh, they're on the upper.
Yeah.
They're on the upper. Okay.
Yeah. So like a Miracle Method for a standard tub, they're right around the same. Where it starts to get like different
70,
is
700 or something.
well, for a tub and tiles, that's what
okay,
they're charging, like 1,200-1,300. Yeah, but you got to remember, there's a couple things that they do. They do the next day detailing included,
No matter what.
and the reason they do
makes
that,
sense.
they're a franchise. They're hiring a bunch of people with varying skill levels. So if somebody like gets it rough, well, then you could just go buff it. You know what I mean?
Kind of like me being the QC.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like, but they have that baked into the service. Obviously, if you're gonna have to go back every single time, you got to make it worth your time,
You gotta
right?
make it worth your time.
So you're gonna pay. You're
I
gonna
would
charge.
like to know how they go about the logistics of like new hires.
I've
And how they incorporate them into the field.
I've had a couple people who have worked for Miracle Method before tell me that it is like a 3-day kind of crash course. Then they throw you to the wolves, and then the
You
thing
figure
is,
it out.
well, you figure it out. But your QC guy, whoever's like assigned to you, I think they like will like make notes on your job, like, hey, you fucked this and this up. This is what I had to fix. Next
Don't
time,
do it again.
Don't do
Yeah,
it
yeah.
again. And if you make the same mistake too many times, they'll just can you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think there's some value in that.
Yeah, I mean
was
that's the
gonna
only way
say-
to do it.
Dude, that works if you really think about it, because after you train somebody, we're always gonna make mistakes. Hell, I make mistakes. You know what I mean? And I've been doing this forever, or I feel like forever. But yeah, it's actually kind of good if you think about it. If your new hire already knows, listen, you're gonna have a professional right behind you, and he's gonna look at your work. He's gonna criticize you. Don't take it personally, but it's just to better you. Like, that makes sense. That's not bad. That's actually a pretty good idea.
I think so too. It's just, for a lot of smaller companies, it's not something that's practical to implement right away.
A lot of driving.
Yeah, and then also I feel like this is just like a side note, but I feel like the way that they do their estimates, that old school in-person shit, that they lock it down higher, like
almost guarantees their job.
Because I feel like with the people who know Miracle Method are usually older people,
Yeah.
and like they have like their ideal client in their face, so it's easier to close these $1,200-$1,300 jobs to people who already have a house paid off or have multiple houses or are doing well. That's like nothing to them. They know that a full bath remodel is going to take too long, cost too much money, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Like things like that. So, but but yeah, like the whole way that they do their training in that front, I think, is actually a good thing because you're giving them the real world experience right away, letting them experience all those variables, but then having somebody who's a little bit more seasoned behind them, like, hey, I've seen this before. This is what you did wrong. Adjust.
This is how you fix it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't do it again.
Exactly.
I'm gonna fire you. No, I'm just kidding. You say that after like the third time.
Yeah. So you work with these. You said Surf Prep.
Surf Tech
Surf
LLC.
Tech, Surf
yeah,
Tech.
it's funny, man. I really had to think of the name because it's been a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I worked for them, and then man, the business owner was like, "Let's go everywhere." Pocket. He figured out the plan on like.
Shit.
Well, sorry.
No. I'm saying like holy shit, just like, oh yeah, we're just gonna go everywhere.
And we started to, and I mean, it's worked for them. They're still alive. They're still alive and well.
That's like, bro, that's a big undertaking, man. Because, well, especially now. Obviously, back then it might not have been the same, but having people willing to go to these
This
places,
was 10 years ago.
paying them well enough to go to these places and be away from family and friends.
Yeah. Well,
And
so they would give per diem.
Yeah.
They would get, you know what I mean? It's like $100 a day. So automatically you get $500 at the end of the week. That's
Okay.
on your 100 per day.
Yeah.
And therefore that's for food. They're at least taking care of you for food. So that's pretty cool.
Okay, that's
and then
not
so
bad.
on top of the 500, if you're driving, they give you mileage. So I always drove. That's like another automatically like $500.
Yeah.
So like you play it strategically. It works well for you. And dude, we're going everywhere.
And primarily commercial, going everywhere.
Always commercial. They had one or two of their favorites that they would have them do some residential, but they really did stick away from residential. Like every time, and you know what's so funny? I actually recently talked to a guy that I worked there that we both quit. He did his own thing in Tampa, and I spoke to him, and he's like, "Bro, I'm back at Surface Tech," and I was like, "What? Are you kidding me, dude? Like you were making a freaking killing by yourself." He's like, "They gave me an offer I couldn't refuse, but as a manager." So now he's back over there as a manager. He's well trusted. You know what I mean? And it's funny because when I went in there, they I don't know, I have a bad person face, but my personality is very bubbly. So, but I get judged just from my face, and then I always kind of stay quiet whenever I'm new people and stuff, and especially business. I really stay quiet, so I look like a completely different person than I actually am. So, like the dude that I was just telling you about, like he had to vouch for me to the owners all the time. Like, listen, you can trust Carlos. Like, Carlos is fine. I know how he looks. He may look a little rough, but Carlos is a good guy. So like they finally like were able to like trust me with other things and stuff. But it was just so funny. I kind of had to go through that.
Damn.
So what do you prefer, residential or commercial?
Bro, there's pros and cons of both of them. I would say it depends, man. I've had beautiful commercials where it's all smooth. I've also worked in commercials where it's a fucking pain.
Me too.
It is horrible.
Yeah.
The managers are horrible. There's no emotion to it. So like it's like a fuck you to your face from them.
Oh no, it literally is. I've told this story before, but you could. Well, this has happened multiple times where you outline your rules in a contract,
And if you don't, they're gonna take advantage.
well, yeah, but even if you do, they kind of just brush it along like "fuck you, who the hell are you?"
Yeah.
But let you void something on their contract, and they're the first ones to be like, "Hey, we're not going to pay you. We're going to sue you."
I know we owe you for a month and it's like $100,000, but this one tub isn't done, and we're gonna hold the check until you fix this one tub. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they do that kind of shit all the time.
Yeah. So like
they strong arm.
Yep.
It's they get you with the contracts.
But
They get you.
that's why you have to do it back, bro. You can't let them fucking win.
Exactly.
I've made that mistake before, and you know what, bro? Honestly, at the end of the day, the people who I've been like, nah, bro, this is what's written, and this is how we're gonna do things. They've respected me more because of it in the end.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day,
They're sharks. They're sharks.
Yeah.
And they respect other sharks. So.
Yeah, yeah. It's like that, man.
Yeah. It's like, why won't a shark bite a lawyer? Business respect.
Yeah, that's true.
But I worked with them, and that kind of honed me on everything. That honed me on countertops. That's where I learned how to do multi-spec and everything. And
They use Midwest.
Midwest, everything. That's how I found out about Midwest. But first off, Midwest has existed.
Yeah, they were
They were from Chicago originally. They moved down here.
Yeah.
I before, because they actually Midwest sold. I don't know if you knew this or not, like several years ago, but the owners all still work there they still kind of, I don't know if they have a stake. They didn't really explain that part to me, but they still work there, even though they sold the company. So I'm imagining they probably are receiving a percentages, and then they also manage it. Maybe someone's like, yo, I'm going to give you 10 million. You're going to keep the company, but you still got to run it. And they're like, okay, forget it. We got 10 million out of it, like, you know, which is cool. You know, but so yeah, I learned everything there. I learned cabinet refinishing there. That's where I really honed on airlesses and stuff. It's funny because back then, I was telling everybody like, "Yo, why are we using?" I used to hate airlesses, and I'm like, "We have turbines. Why aren't we using turbines to do cabinets?" And everyone's like, "Turbines to do cabinets? What the fuck?" And now everybody does turbines for cabinets. It's hilarious.
You save a lot of material.
You save a lot
using a
of
turbine
materials.
versus an airless.
A lot.
Like by about 100%.
It's
You double up on material using airless.
There's pros and cons to that. I've done them both ways. I've done jobs because I do a lot of cabinet refinishing. Like to toot my own horn on that. Like I think I'm really good at it. And I do water-based materials and everything. 2K, you know, everything, all the mix. Which, by the way, if you don't know, if you don't use water-based, Tampa is loaded with a lot of places to get like the best water-based material. I used to drive there a lot
to get it.
Olympian Paintings, shout out Olympian Paintings. I know the owners, Reyes and his brother, and I used to drive over there all the time just to freaking get Centurion.
Do they still distribute Centurion over at Olympian?
I don't know if they still do or not. I think they do because I just recently saw a post and they're using Centurion. I can't imagine them not to. I mean, you have to buy into it. Yeah, you have to buy into being able to distribute all that. Yeah. So I would imagine yes. Okay. And not only that, like they had to, like when I had talked last already on, he was talking about you have to buy the mixes like for the paints, and you have to buy it from
base.
them.
You have to buy
the that alone is like 15 grand.
Their formulas, like, and then the machine.
Yeah, that alone is like 15 grand.
Yeah,
just for the mixing machine. So like when you're buying in, you're buying in. It's not something you're just gonna try.
It's a good investment.
It's a great investment. It's a great investment. And something that I kind of attempted this with Radeon, but Radion's like, hey, I'm going to distribute, but I'm not going to be shipping anything. And I'm like, damn, dude, let me get in with you. Let me see if I can ship. But it wasn't working out because I didn't always have to drive to Tampa and stuff. So I was like, yeah. You know, but still good business. Now I think he's venturing on to Naples now. If I'm not mistaken, he got together with some guys down there.
Expanding.
Yeah. Cool. And then he expanded also to Miami. And so they're doing well. They're doing well for people that moved here 3 years ago and are dominating.
Yeah, this industry, it's relatively easy to start up. Like we've talked about that. Like anyone can really start up a refinishing company with relatively low overhead costs. Mm-hmm. And then in order to expand, if you can control your lead gen, I mean, you just need one or two guys and you can start a division. You can start, you know, another sector in another part of the state with relatively low overhead if you can provide the lead gen.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And quality. Yeah. And quality. Because you're not going to go anywhere if you suck.
Well, yeah, but those are things that are inherent, right? Like no one's going to call the guy who's doing a bullshit job all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like it's easier to find guys who are good at the work than it is guys who are good at finding the work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can attest to that.
Yeah, that's like the golden skill because you could take a sprayer who wants an opportunity, and if you can provide the lead generation for him, he'll have a successful company because the operations is relatively, if you've been doing this for a while, it's relatively straightforward.
Yeah, and that's something that I do want to talk about. I'm going to do that for like the second half of the episode, but I did want to kind of finish up the conversation that we were having as far as like your start and all that. And then we touched a little bit on what you prefer as far as commercial and residential.
Yeah.
Now I know for me personally, the biggest benefit of commercial is
the big paycheck. And also you kind of get the guys into a routine, which isn't always the case on residential.
Yeah.
There's not as many variables because the one or two variables you see are kind of reoccurring in commercial. You see them in every other room or something like that. And then, you know, it's that consistency. They know where they're going every day. You don't have to pre-plan. You can buy product in bulk, those kinds of things. So for you is like, and this is coming at it at the angle from both business, but also as like the person doing the work too. Yeah. What's your stance on that?
So I'm going to go ahead and say commercial is easier for the less experienced. In general, completely. I like residential because I'm a people person.
Okay.
People love me at the end of the day. Well, once I'm done with the job, even if they don't like me in the beginning, I got a rough face or whatever, sometimes, and you feel it. You see when people judge you or not, which I'm okay with that. I've been my entire life. I'm used to it by now, so it doesn't bother me. But it's actually, and he'll attest to this. I take it as a challenge now. I want to make you like me by the end of the freaking job site.
And this is a attitude change, which it's funny because it kind of correlates to that time that you were referencing early on, where you remember when you were like you were feeling bad about yourself more often and stuff like that. Yeah. And when he made the change of like, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to focus on my shit, I'm going to try to get my business better.
Yeah, he has been actually watching me through it. So he's actually been watching. I totally forgot about that.
It's funny, but like he used to get pissed off at customers and not ever be like, I'm going to walk off the job site, but be like, man, they're really fucking bothering me. They're really testing me today. Like, and now it's turned into like, nah, bro.
I turned it around.
Like he's like, I'm just going to make them love me. Yeah. And it works.
The laws of charisma, man.
Yeah, that works.
It has nothing to do with what you look like.
We've had some clients that were like refusing to pay and straight up were like, I trust Carlos. I'm going to pay you right now.
Yeah. There was one customer in particular, man, that he was going with a light, and every 2 minutes he'd find another grout line to touch up. And Carlos was there for 2 hours touching up grout lines.
Yep. And I did it because at the end of the day, do I want to waste more gas and time coming to this job site? I'm already here. Yeah. Let me just kill it out the way.
And sometimes that's what it takes, bro. Having a customer service mindset is honestly more important than spraying the most beautiful tub in the world, bro. Because the intention and like they want to know that your intentions are in the right place. Yep. You could spray everything beautiful, right? And how many times does it happen where you're like, oh, well, the grout situation, something you should take care of. Automatically, they start becoming,
they don't like you.
They start questioning you.
You left them with a stink face.
Yeah, they start questioning it. But if you go and then you try to, all right, I'm going to touch these up, but if it happens again, you know to do this, this, and this. Oh, yeah. Now they trust you. Oh, yeah. Because your intention is, I'm trying to help you now. Yeah. But when it looks like you don't want to help them, they think, oh, well, if they're not going to help me with this, what's going to happen in 3 years when it peels?
Which is crazy.
Or something, right? If it peels.
From my experience, most refinishers go into the industry to not have to work for anybody. Uh-huh. And then you learn very quickly that the clients are the boss.
Yeah.
And then your whole position, if you want to be successful, is to please them the same way you would please your boss at a job. And so if you're the type of individual who's very like prideful, and you can't let go of that, that there's someone that you have to answer to, because at the end of the day, we're making a negotiation with another human being. Yep. You know what I mean? We're working not for them, but with them, and they want to have leverage in the relationship. Always. So that's what that grout line shit is. Yep. Is the customer trying to make sure they have some leverage here, and that the negotiation is you're gonna follow up on your end of the negotiation.
Well, I walk it right with them. Don't worry, I got you, sir.
It's the recipe for success.
Well, you always got to think of it in their shoes. If you paid all this money for a service and they're not willing to touch up some grout lines for you,
they're not going to come next time.
They're not going to come in whatever amount of time something might peel or get damaged. That's the first thing they think about is like, well, here you are able to fix it and you're not doing
here.
it.
Yeah. You're arguing to me about something that shouldn't be like that. That's why I told you, maybe we should start implementing grouts. I'll do them. Yeah. I told you about it. We probably got to figure out maybe the pricing and stuff and what's worth it.
Yeah, that's kind of the holdup on it. But
there's a guy out.
We've dabbled with it. If you have a really competent tech, I wouldn't put a young guy to do it, because what I've learned with our guys,
you need guys with experience.
You need guys with experience, because you need to be able to make common sense decisions. If the grout's still too wet, don't spray over it. It's little simple shit.
That's funny.
But if you have an experienced guy who can make good judgment calls, why would you not want to? It does look shitty. Yeah. When there's a fucking gap in the grout. But it's also is not
it looks beautiful. Look at this entire open gap on a white tile, and it's black. Yeah. It's that's an eyesore.
And we do the caulking thing. You know what I mean? But you can't. You're not going to upcharge for that.
No, because it's still your job at the end of the day.
Exactly.
It's still your job.
You could definitely upcharge for grout fix.
You can definitely charge for grout. You're making a little bit more money. The thing is, grouting isn't even that long. It's just a next day thing. I would make it a next day thing.
Think so?
I would be like, hey, I'll be there Monday. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to etch. I'm going to prep everything. And then I'm going to do grout last. I'm going to grout it. Grout doesn't take that long. Maybe it takes 30 minutes to an hour max. Okay, whatever. And then I'm going to let it dry. And then I'm going to be back tomorrow.
They have some grouts that are
fast set.
Yeah, which I did some research on.
too fast though, even for me.
Really?
So I prefer just to be the thing is, even the regular dries pretty fast. That's why I wouldn't even mess with fast set, and especially for newer guys.
Yeah.
And to
Well, what's the con to facet? Just curious, because the con, like to facet.
Oh, the con, it dries too quick and you're wasting material. But
Okay.
even still, that's not that much. But I mean, the bags are like $20 bags. You want it to,
So it just dries too quickly.
It just dries too quickly, and if you don't know how to spread really quick, or if the walk-in, because I've done this one before, if the walk-in shower is like a 5 by, you're gonna want the regular one, or you're gonna want to mix in small batches and then go area at a time, at least for someone that's not experienced. So I'm gonna piggyback off to this because that's another reason why I prefer residential. I prefer residential because I'm a people person, and I have more control to any fuck ups. I have more control with the client. I can 9 times out of 10 convince that client, listen, everything's okay. Don't you worry about a thing. I'm going to be here tomorrow. Everything's going to be fine. Or you don't pay me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Clients love listening to that. Oh, I don't pay you? I'm like, yeah, but I guarantee you, I'm going to leave here and you're going to give me a 5-star review.
Mm-hmm.
Always. I tell that for BathTubGuys. I tell that for Kings Renovations, etc. You name it, bro. Like, I was checking BathTubGuys reviews. Some people have left reviews about me on BathTub.
That's so sad.
It's like, oh, Carlos was here. Carlos was great. And I'm like, that's so funny.
Good.
Like, I'm part of BathTubGuys whether you want it or not. Like,
No, definitely. I mean, you're doing work on our behalf.
oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like, he'll tell you, bro. I will go back. I may bitch and groan because it's something stupid, like something minute.
Sometimes people are being extra also. So.
Yeah, but it's one of those things you just kind of got to accept it, bro. It
It's
cost
part
with the
of
territory.
It's part of the
Cost of doing business, bro.
It comes with the territory.
Not always gonna be
comes with
sweet.
the territory. Yeah. So that's why I prefer residential as far as relationship, because like I said, in commercial, there's no emotion to it. There's no like, yo, man, like I apologize. It's almost always like you'll run into good managers during the commercials. Yeah, absolutely. And I have, but you almost more run into, it's almost like they always hire assholes for that part. And it's for a good reason, by the way.
Because a lot of contractors can't be trusted.
Shitty people. Exactly. You're hiring and I don't want to put it like this, but when you're hiring subcontractors, you're kind of hiring at the bottom of the pole.
Yeah.
So when you're hiring that, like some of the best refinishers I know are some of the biggest assholes and people that you don't want to work with. Man's talented, but Jesus, working with him is not worth it. I'd rather find someone new and train them.
You know why that is? It's exactly what you said. It's for a reason. It's because a lot of these people, these companies want things really cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And with really cheap comes
that territory.
People who
cheap service.
Yeah, it's going to take 15 people to do the one bathroom instead of fucking 5 because they're trying to compensate somewhere. They're also probably hiring people who are either in bad financial situations at home, so they're unreliable, or they might not have papers, they might not be legal, and they might disappear next fucking week because their house got raided.
Or like we talk about, it's the good old boy system.
Yeah.
Someone's got their hands in someone's pockets.
Somebody knows somebody who knows somebody.
You're hiring based off of how this money's getting transferred around.
And then the superintendents who run these projects are usually kind of dickheads because they're dealing with irresponsibility constantly. How many times have you heard a homeowner say, yeah, man, this guy started my floor and then he disappeared and I haven't heard from him in 3 months and he still needs to do that room. And like they pay people ahead of time and people just walk out and they'll maybe never show up again. It happens all the time.
Yeah. I recently ended up doing a backsplash for a client that they paid ahead full front. And dude, it broke my heart and it pissed me off too. Because I'm like, how come these jobs aren't fucking falling on me? How come they're falling on assholes? This good family trusted somebody who has an LLC. He gave me the name and everything. I looked them up because I'm like, yo, I'm very interested. Who the hell did this for you? Because cabinets are installed ghetto as hell. They're not even on studs. Some of them are like wingly. For $30,000, they got very small kitchen to install some cabinets. For mica countertops, for $30,000, are you kidding me? I can find granite for $5,000. Mm-hmm. You couldn't find this for this family, dude. Like
they didn't want to.
They wanted to milk that money. So like they didn't even finish the freaking job. Nothing was installed correctly, And then this person's like scraping up change because they've already spent $30,000 on someone that's not even coming back.
And then imagine that on scale. Now you know why these guys are assholes. Because imagine, all right, a homeowner gives a deposit of $5,000. A fucking apartment complex is giving a fucking $1
$100,000
million
or- yeah,
deposit, bro.
yeah.
Like those properties cost millions to renovate, and then the person that they're hiring is subbing a bunch of irresponsible assholes who do things wrong.
So it's like they're assholes, but it's necessary assholes.
Yeah.
It's almost like necessary evil. It's needed, you know.
It's like checks and balances.
Yeah.
When you're corporatized, it's the only way it works.
Yeah, and
But they do respect you more when you stand up for yourself.
Yep.
Because I used to fucking tuck in my tail, and they'd be like, "Oh, I can walk all over this guy."
Yep.
Now, the second I hear something, I'm like, "Excuse me, sir. What did you say?" No, that's not the way it works. Like,
Yep.
I'm so sorry. I mean this respectfully, but no. And they know. You just check them. They're like, okay, I know we're not to continue with this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's, I hate to say it, it's more like an alpha dominance kind of thing. It's
well,
like
it is.
it's like it's like a pissing contest.
Well, whenever there's
Yeah.
money involved, that's what it is, man.
It literally 100%
and
it is.
and one thing that
Even
I've-
women do that on that
they
aspect.
do that too.
Especially, actually, I've had most of my clients, the easier ones are men.
Yeah.
Harder ones are women.
Oh yeah, like that lady who told you that there was not grout there, or that there wasn't grout there, that it was caulking.
I still have nightmares about her.
They had a lady, man, like we cut the caulking out, and there was a fucking giant pile of grout there, and he couldn't get it off.
Yeah.
And we told her about it. She started fucking spazzing.
We're
on
like,
him,
ma'am, it's. I told her, I was like, ma'am, I do this every day.
She
I
drove
pull-
45 minutes over there. She's like, well, it is grout.
She's like, no, stop. Don't continue the job until I get there. And I'm like, I have to go. Like, I already have my day set out
Some
and
people are just
scheduled.
spazzes.
Which, by the way, that was the second day, too. That was the second day because we were there the day prior. Bro,
yeah, and then she was complaining about the caulk line in that area, but
Yeah,
the
no,
caulk line in
there's-
that area, it was kind of jagged because the grout was fucked.
Yeah, I mean,
And,
it's like a rock.
And
It's a
no,
rock,
but here's
yeah.
the thing: we literally told her both on the phone. Remember, we were on a three-way
took
call.
photos with her.
We were on a three-way call, and I told her, "I'm like, ma'am, do you really think I want to be having this conversation right now? If it was as easy as just cutting out a fucking line of
I would've
caulking,
done it. I
it would
told
be
her that.
done.
I
I
told her,
don't
I was
want to
like, I would've
argue
done
with you. I don't want you to come 45 minutes over here to be pissed. Like,
Yeah.
it's just common sense.
Mind you, she was she's a business owner, a handyman business owner. It's like it's crazy.
she still
Sometimes
didn't understand?
and she still didn't understand. She had to go over there. So I left. By the way, the most of the conversation and any job that I get from Bathtub Guys, I take over. I take over. I call the clients. You know, like the only thing Danny has to, if Danny has to do anything, it's collect a check. Not even. I collect the check.
Or sometimes, like, if they want to negotiate something additional to the job. or something
Exactly,
like
which has happened before. I'm like, yo, dude, check this out. You know, they're asking about this, blah, blah, blah. You know, hey, add another 200 to it, whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, most of the time, I take over the job, like, early that morning because I have a guy that works with me, too, Seth, you know. So I'm in charge of him and his fuck-ups or whatever. So, like, or his job in general. So I'll usually wake up early in the morning, hit up the client. Hey, it's Carlos with Bathtub Guys. Just want to let you know my tech is going to arrive there at so-and-so time. You call me in case any questions or concerns, blah, blah, blah. And almost always, like, zero traffic towards him. He doesn't hear any bullshit. If there's anything else or anything minute, it just goes straight to me. The way I see it is just, like, he doesn't need to deal with the headache.
Yeah.
And,
I'll
and you
deal
know,
with it.
you know what I respect about that is that it's a true situation where he is being his own fucking boss in his own company. So that there's some people who want to subcontract, but they want you to do every little thing.
Yeah.
And
And that gets annoying.
And it gets annoying.
You already have enough shit to do. Like,
Exactly.
It's like
the last thing I need to hear about is like somebody needs a ground line. touched
minute
up.
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
it's
It's,
like-
so minute. It's
Yeah.
like...
And so he takes care of that, and he makes it a point to like, I'm gonna manage the customer for you.
Yeah.
And another thing, which is why I feel like I could trust Carlos, is because customers have hit him up personally, like, hey, you did my bathroom, maybe do this other one, and he always tells me about
Always.
it. And
Danny,
that's
I just got the client just hit me up.
Protect the check, man.
Yeah.
Don't
Listen,
fuck
man.
yourself over
Listen,
trying to get greedy.
for a couple of dollars,
Yeah.
like I'm gonna fuck up a relationship. Get out of here.
It's tempting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, ooh, you know, you can keep all of it, but it's a
and
protect
I've
the
been on the
relationship.
phone with him, and I'm
Well-
like, hey, yo, they just somebody just like it doesn't even have to do with Bathtub Guys. I'm on the phone with him, and like while I happen to be at a Bathtub Guys, or someone asked me about a tub, and I'm like, yo, someone's asking me about a tub, bro, and he'll be like, take it, bro. That's got nothing to do with me.
That's like the perfect test to find out if this guy's about the dollar or if he's about business. You know what I mean? Like if a sub like tries to steal some work from you, You just know
You
where
know
they
it.
stand.
Exactly.
You know where they stand.
You know where it's at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, it's about the dollar, and it's not about the relationship, because the relationship can bring a lot more dollars than that one fucking little sub.
Exactly. It's like, okay, either cheat me out and you cheated yourself out for $200, or stick with me and you're gonna make $100,000 this year.
Yep.
You know, it's like that's just how it works.
Yeah, man. That's what a lot of these guys don't understand.
They're
like,
looking short-sighted.
I've told you guys both how I've been, trying to hire people and stuff like that. And one of the things I commonly get is these, the true subcontractor types, right? That they only want to sub work all the time. They don't want a daily schedule. They're like, I'm going to go to whoever's paying most today.
Yeah.
And then they come to me whining when it's Christmas time and they can't get gifts for their fucking kids about, oh, well, I need work really bad. And it's like, all right, well, are you going to work for me every day? Oh, no, bro, I can't do that, bro. Because, when these people are busy, I kind of have a commitment to them. And it's like, no, then fuck you.
He makes it a point to keep me busy. Like,
yeah.
And he has his guys. He makes it a point to keep me busy.
And I tell him with time, hey, it's going to be a little slow next week.
Yep.
So maybe you got to find something to fill these gaps.
Yep.
Because I understand that instability is a big thing for a lot of people in your position.
Yeah.
Where it comes to like, they don't have a daily schedule, but some guys don't want it until shit hits the fan.
Oh, yeah.
Then they want to fucking go around and be like, yo, I need some work. But it's like, bro, if you're going to work with someone else 8 months out of the year, how are you going to help me? What if something goes wrong? No.
You just have to.
You're gonna ghost. That's the thing. So many people, bro. I've been in the business long enough to know, like, to kind of read people, and like, I see it, bro. Like, I'm like, and I've gone against my gut sometimes. Sure enough, my gut was telling me immediately, like, dude, just keep an eye out. Don't give too much. And then, like, once it happens, I've accepted it, and I'm like, I'm mad at myself because I saw it coming and I still ignored it. Like,
what were you gonna say?
It was mostly from your conversations to me, because I haven't subbed a lot. I'm still on the smaller end of the company scale. So I have my team of 3 guys, and like I just keep them busy.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't had that excess plethora to like deal with too many subs. I've done it a couple times here and there, but from your experience, it seems like there's a lack of understanding of the relationship of a sub and where you stand as a sub. Because as a sub, you do not work for us.
No.
You are your own business owner. You're our colleague.
Yeah.
No,
we
so
are just partnering to do this project.
Yep.
and this is what they don't understand. When I sub you a job, I am the customer.
Yes.
yes.
That's the difference.
Yes.
That's why what you do is valuable. Now, I've had other subs in the past. I talked about Bruno before. He's a good sub. He does the job, but he didn't like to deal with customers.
Yeah, he just wants to show up and work, and I understand that.
And I understand that too.
I understand that. He wants to stay a sub.
Exactly.
He doesn't want to
And-
scale, and I understand that. He just doesn't want to work for a 9 to 5. He likes to keep his own hours. Like, that's,
And he liked to work. He wanted to work with us every single day. Like, he made that a point.
Yeah.
And I get it. Everybody wants stability. But at the end of the day, that extra mile you go like, hey, contact me if anything. Hey, I'll fix that. Hey, another job came in. Like, you should know about this. Like, all those things are what brings value. Because, like, again, I am now the customer, right? Like, I'm giving you the job and I'm paying you to do it.
Yeah.
At that point, it's like that's why you're getting paid more than the guy who's making $20 an hour.
You absorb responsibility, dude. Like,
Exactly.
you're signing another contract. We have a contract for the project, and now we're signing a contract together for you to do the project and execute. And it just, from what I've heard from your conversations, those lines get very blurred in your business.
if
because
they're not
of
stated, they ignore it.
I've had
you're
subs.
using the subs every single day. They're almost employees.
You guys are gonna like this.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna end it with this, because then we'll start another one, because it's already 38 minutes in. But I've had subs ask me for PTO, just so that you know.
I'm like, hey, listen, man, PTO's after like being here 3 years.
Bro, that's how. But that's how blurred it gets.
I don't even have PTO here yet. Like,
Crazy.
no,
All right, I'm gonna end it here, and then we'll start up another one, guys. So let me go ahead and end that here, and then we'll continue on.
You've been listening to the Bathtub Refinishing Podcast. If you liked what you heard, be sure to keep up with the Bathtub Guys on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, or visit BathTubGuys.com for more. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.